Oh, but now we're live because that's how delayed we are.
No, followers, I meant.
Oh, sorry, but yeah, we're live.
Yeah.
Hi, people.
Oh, hey. Oops. Thanks for the countdown to let us know we're live.
Oh yeah, I know that warning was really sweet. Just for that, I'll have
What,
a
you
drink.
didn't hear my silent countdown?
I did not. You bet.
He counted on screen. Greetings.
Hello.
We have a bunch of people in a big old sooty town, filled with industry and rich people. And who's doing my recap this week?
I guess silence is me.
Not it.
I can do it. I have it prepped. I just was waiting.
Oh, well then.
I
Go
mean,
for it.
I'm giving other people opportunities.
This
No,
one
you-
time at band camp?
You put all this work into it, please.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
So much work typing like 2 paragraphs
That's how much work I
And
put
a
in high
novel.
school.
in a comic. So session recap from last time. We successfully, with the help of Navik and his stubbornness, gave Clementina enough time to hide within the city until we left Adiaco. Rosie and Mancinos bonded over debauchery and poetry. Ithis learned more about his quill and his slowly unraveling story from the woman at the leading lady, which I forgot to update my notes with the name. I have it here. Hold on. What?
5 XP to whoever knows the name.
It's in Phil's notes.
Sarka something. Yeah. Sarka
Sarka
Krakola?
Yes.
Sarka Cola.
Sarka Krakola or something like
Carcola.
that. Carcola?
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Yep.
I, Caleb, purchased a merchant vessel as a dual purpose, guaranteed transport to Bremwick, and a way to expand our alchemy and ale businesses, or other things that we might come across.
I was so convinced that you were going to use that to move like people.
Yeah, I thought it was like a
I
new
thought you were
slaver
creating
ship.
like Underground Railroad kind of thing going on.
I mean, that's a potential option as well. We can use that to get the Odin followers up quicker, actually, now that I think about it. Now that you've planted
Way
the
to
thought.
go, DM.
The captain, by the name of Giorgio Piri,
Giorgio Piri, yeah.
is a suave halfling, and I feel he will do us proud. As we left
I also feel that way.
As we left Adiaco, we had a fun time confusing the acolytes of Tyr as they were trying to figure out who set the green flag on our ship to clear us to leave.
What
and
green flag?
And as we sailed to Baumgarten, Rosie and Mancinos bonded some more so for Mancinos to ever sate his lust for magical power.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say lust as much. Yeah, okay, that works.
And then as we got to Baumgarten, I had a tinge of feeling that I was home with the wonderful smells of the forges and the burning metals. We ended up splitting up to search for Clementina's contacts, only going by a code name of Mr. Green. Mancinos, Clementina, Rosie went to check on one of the inns, which was... I don't think I wrote that one down.
We made friend.
Yeah.
All I remember was Pudge, the ogre bartender.
Pudge is awesome. I'll hear nothing bad about him.
And then Ithis, Navik, and I went to the Grit Spike Hostel, where we met I think it was a half-orc?
Full orc.
Oh, full orc.
Mm-hmm.
Who I don't think got a name from, and he is now gone from his desk that he toppled over and didn't think anything of it in the back room.
He's Grit Spike. He is.
Oh, he is Grit Spike.
Yeah, he is Grit Spike.
Gotcha.
The other one that Pudge runs is the Whistleblower Tavern.
Which is featuring a concert.
Yes, which is as a camera kind of glides in from the clouds through the layers of smog and down into the sort of Gothic architecture that is prominent in Baumgarten. We kind of move through the streets with glowing forges on every corner to a large square where on the corner two huge wooden doors braced in iron are swung out onto the street. The camera kind of pauses as it approaches a small chalkboard that says "For one night only, Rosie Beestinger," and you can hear. What do you hear? Is it the bagpipes?
Oh, of course it's the bagpipes. I was practicing on the boat.
I
Yep.
know.
I'm playing My Heart Will Go On.
Oh God.
There's about 60 people in here.
Yeah, doing well.
And Minchino's here at the bar.
Yep.
Yep. I know you bought a round for just about everyone in here.
Yep.
And there are bratwursts on buns, and with all the sauerkraut you can handle being sort of flooded out to all of the patrons, and a bemused Pudge is standing behind behind his bar. He is clapping along to the music, except he's completely off rhythm and he's clapping way too loud.
I mean, he's an ogre. It's like, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
No on the downbeat, Pudge. Oh God.
He doesn't have any like real emotion on his face, but I mean, it's hard to imagine him not actually being a patron of the arts. He's just really enthusiastic about it in his own way. Does anyone want to do anything in this scene before we sort of view the tableau that is Caleb and company meeting Mr. Green?
I'm just scanning the crowd to see if there's anybody that looks like it might be the Mr. Green we're looking for. I know that Pudge has already said he ran away like a coward, but I'm not taking any chances and trying to work the crowd a little bit too.
There you have people. Anytime you catch eyes with somebody sitting down in the common room, they raise their glass to you. Everyone here is sort of covered in soot and grease and oil and big sort of gray overalls. And they're just happy for a break. And as Rosie sort of reaches the sort of finish of another tune, there is a loud, extraordinarily loud whistle blow, as you remember the one that was built sort of right on the front of the building. And everyone in the room stands up. They applaud Rosie. Coins are tossed onto the stage, along with a sooty pair of underwear. And they all sort of down the rest of their drinks and start presumably heading back to work.
Congratulations.
So, Rosie, you have earned yourself 17 silver,
Yay!
3 copper.
Nice.
Which is pretty good for a crowd of blue collars.
I'm just happy to have entertained.
You hear, or rather you see, Pudge at the bar as you finish your set. And Pudge is looking at you and still clapping like...
I'll continue.
So everyone's gone. Like there's nobody left to
Yeah,
watch it.
everyone's left. It's just Pudge clapping now.
Well, we figure the shift changed. There's probably another crowd coming shortly.
Yeah. So at this point, it's probably about, I would say 8 p.m. at night. You get the sense that there is just rolling shifts in this city. And Pudge immediately starts fixing Rosie another meal, despite having only been able to eat like a tenth of the first one.
Considering things probably the same size as me.
Yeah. So like a big roast fish comes out with like
Nice.
8 lemons like layered across it. This is enough to feed a family of 10. And he just like walks it over to the stage and puts it next to you. And he says, "Good. Very. You are like. More." And he walks away. And you can tell that he's like humming. Well, it's okay. So he's grunting. But you think there's some attempt at maybe like carrying the melody that you were playing. It doesn't really work, but exactly. So is your intention to sort of basically earn your keep here and stay for the rest of the night?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no obvious to Minchino's Mr. Green here, and in fact, the Whistleblower Tavern only has 2 rooms, and looking at the balcony above the bar, you can see those 2 doors. They are both open, signaling vacancy.
Okay, cool. Not that I didn't believe Pudge, but just making sure.
Yep.
Because I have no idea what the other guys are doing.
Has the bar started to fill up again? Is there more people?
There is. You can definitely see that there are people moving past the building on the street. There are some people kind of reading the sign and they're like talking back and forth, but nobody's come in just yet.
Can I go prop the door open to the tavern?
They are wide open.
Oh, they're already open?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to change to my ukulele,
Okay.
and I'm going to play a lively rendition of mug thumping.
Okay.
Get a crowd in here.
Yep. They get knocked down.
But they get up again.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to keep them down.
On the ukulele.
On the ukulele.
All right.
You know it.
All right. And are you doing this on the stage, or are you going out onto the front next to your chalkboard?
Oh, I'm totally out there by the chalkboard.
All right. So as the camera sort of leaves this area, workers begin to kind of pool at the front of the building. And
well, then when they're starting to pool, I'm gonna back in and try to get them in.
You do your best Pied Piper.
Yeah,
And
and then
the
bring
whole
them to the
time-
stage.
So the whole time I'm staying about 10 feet away and prestidigitating little sparks and like light shows around her as she's doing this.
Ah,
Awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah. So we see another full crowd shift head into the Whistleblower Tavern, and Pudge goes back to work slinging nail and passing out sausages.
Oh my.
In the very sort of barren-looking Grit Spike hostel, there is a very tiny desk and a very tiny chair that belong to a very large orc by the name of Grit Spike, who has gone into the back to fetch one Mr. Green, who is said to be a contact, or rather an ally, that Clementina has managed to sort of uncover. Learned that there are 6 others who have resisted the deceit of Caleb. Or not Caleb.
I mean,
Caleb.
Come on.
The deceit of Caleb. That's a different
Well-
storyline.
don't get me started.
The deceit of Tyr, and in the name of Caleb, he is trying to gather these people up. And a man comes around the corner in a flannel shirt and some sort of worn out, sort of khaki colored pants. He's got sort of a long but clearly manicured beard. He is human. He's got sort of probably shoulder length hair that just sort of hangs off his head in like sort of greasy tendrils. And he's got sort of a fierce look in his eye and very skeptical look as he comes around the corner. Clementina is with Vincinos and Rosie, right?
Yep.
All right. So the man that comes around does not see any familiar faces. And as he scans the lobby, he just turns around and starts walking back.
Hey, wait. Are you Mr. Green?
He turns back. He's like, who's asking?
Anita's looking for you.
Who is she?
That she is.
How do you know Anita?
We have, how should I say, similar friends in high places?
Right. Well, where is she?
Currently, probably at the whistleblower.
She's not paying my bill, is she?
I wouldn't be able to tell you one way or another.
Ah, shit, it would be just like her. We should go to the whistleblower. That bastard Pudge is probably wringing her dry with everything she's got. Can't let anything go. You have one big drunken night and you break a few things and suddenly you're public enemy.
Well, if you want to come with us, we can go find her.
Yeah, we probably would, but let me just tell you, this Pudge guy, he can't be reasoned with. He's a monster.
Totally, yeah, obviously a monster.
So meanwhile, I'm negotiating with Pudge
Yeah.
about a recurring contract here for me and Rosie.
Yeah.
He's like, I got some friends in the back, but we need not concern them with any of this. You understand?
Anything about Pudge or anything about Anita?
About Pudge.
Oh, that's fine.
Hey, so what's your name?
The name's Belak.
Belak. All right, Belak. And how do you know? I mean, I think I get what you're sort of laying down here, but let's step out into the street, eh?
Sure, we can do that.
So he's like, he gives you sort of an index finger in the air, indicating he wants a minute. And he goes back into the other room. He comes back out with a second coat. So now he's wearing like a thick flannel shirt and like a big overcoat. And it is like summer here. It is not cold outside.
Goddamn hipsters.
He's like all bundled up, and he comes back out into the street, and he's like, "All right, you ever been to the whistleblower?"
No.
All right. Well, who's your friends here?
You have Kevin. I point at the big Goliath.
Kevin.
And
Dude.
we never came up with and this one you can call Birdo.
Birdo. Okay. Sounds a little insensitive, but what about the bear?
That's a
That'll
midget.
I'll leave to Kevin.
Bear.
Turn into poo.
He goes, bear. He kind of leans over to Belak, and he's like, he doesn't talk much, does he?
Simple words mainly, but
Right. All right then. Oh wait, Kevin. We're gonna go see a man named Pudge. If he gets a little fighty, you fight back. Yeah.
Do I know where the whistleblower is? In the direction?
Probably not.
Damn it.
you wanted to just go start walking off that way.
I was going to pick him up by the neck and then go.
Gotcha.
That's what I was going to do. But I just ignore him. Just keep looking off. Look around, don't pay attention to him.
Yeah. He's like. He leans back over to Belak. He's like, boy, he's real A little slow on the uptake, huh?
From time to time, but he's reliable.
All right. Well,
He's gonna die so well.
come on, Belak.
So we'll follow him unless.
Yeah. So he brings you through the streets, and he seems almost too casual in these streets. Like everyone else is sort of like moving around, going about their daily business. People, it's not like cold or anything like that. Like people are saying hi to each other in the streets, but Mr. Green is waltzing through the streets like he owns the city, and he's like. He'll walk by like a cart that's like peddling some like simple breads and things like that, and he'll just grab a roll off of it and like
All right.
take a bite.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the roll from him, put it back, and then just pick him up and head in the same direction.
Okay. Do you want to make an athletics check?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Happily.
So your intent is to grapple, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, this will end well for him. Yeah, well, not a
Does
bad
he
roll.
like a
Plus
fireman
12?
carry over?
Plus 12.
So you grab him by the coat, and he's got just too many layers on that he actually can't like get his arm over his head to like fight you off. But for he is under 6 feet tall. But you immediately like sense his power. He is like a ball of ropey muscle.
Damn.
And he seems a little put off that you've got him kind of strung up, mostly based on your leverage advantage from your height. But he quickly sort of gives up and he goes, Belak, your boy here seems confused.
I think he's kind of in a rush to get back to his other friends, our other friends.
Okay, he's not gonna like throw me into a ditch or anything, is he?
He won't.
This time.
Yeah, roll a deception check.
All right. So, would you advise I just roll with this?
I mean, it's a free ride for you.
Yeah. All right. He just kind of like slumps in his own coat and just like he's just sort of hanging out there now as you guys move through the streets holding Mr. Green up by his jackets.
Yeah, just point him in the direction and he'll head that way.
Yeah, every now and then he like gestures in a direction. He goes left. No, your other
No,
left.
no, yeah. Don't use directions. Point. You got to point.
Oh. In about half an hour, you find your way across town into the forage quarter, and you hear the sounds of Rosie's instruments before you see the massive brass and bronze steam whistle on the front of the building. And as you go in, there's a raucous common room with lots of ale on the tables and the smell of sort of rich, meaty foods surrounds you. You see Rosie on a small sort of granite stage, surrounded in like copper coins and the occasional gift of some sort.
More underwear.
Yeah.
Underwear gets moved off to the side.
And at the back, you see
Good fuel.
could only be Pudge, and I assume Minchinos as well.
Yeah, I'm over by the bar, but I'm gonna like I've gotten totally into the show, and I'm thaumaturgying like
Mhm.
thuds and rumbles and thunder to Rosie's music.
Yeah, the attention is like they'll hear something and they'll like pass back over and like watch Minchinos as he kind of finishes up.
Well, I'm trying to do it so it's just with the music as opposed to
but
stealing
their attention is divided.
Yeah, okay.
To the source of both entertainment as they sort of play off each other. And Mr. Green points to the back of the bar and he goes, "That's the one. That's Pudge."
I let him go at the door, so
Do I see him do that?
Yeah, if you want to make me a perception check, it's a low DC, but you are
Distracted with the right.
distracted, so make disadvantage. Oh yeah, yeah. You definitely see a group come in, and you see Caleb
Yep. So I see them, and they start going over.
and Navik, obviously.
And I want to see if I can tell what's going on.
Which group was Ithis in, by the way?
Our group.
He was with
He's
Caleb.
with us.
Okay,
Yeah, I
got
was
it.
with you guys.
Sorry, say again.
So I'm gonna kind of keep watching this to see what happens because I see him, this new guy pointing at Pudge.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make some assumptions, but watch what's happening.
Got it. Yeah. So Mr. Green gets dropped to the floor. He kind of like fixes his collar a little bit, and he kind of brushes his jacket off, and he goes, "All right, Kevin, Belak, Berto, this might get messy." He kind of confidently strolls up to the front of the bar.
I would.
And he kind of like moves past some of the sort of
Patrons?
the excited patrons, and gets up to the bar, and he goes, "Pudge?" And Pudge kind of looks down. He goes, "Green." He's like, "I think we should have a talk. I know I broke your popcorn machine, and I know how important that thing was to you. But listen, we live in a city of industry. They make them, hundreds of them, every day. We can just get you a new one."
So while this is going
Yeah.
on, I'm gonna try and catch Caleb's attention and sort of go, "Is that him?"
I will nod.
Cool. I'm gonna saunter on over then and listen to what's going on.
Saunter.
Saunter.
So Mr. Green continues to plead his case that he should not have to pay like 10 times the cost of whatever popcorn machine he broke. And
I'd be upset too. I totally get it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm.
Yeah. Pudge is just sort of at the bar, like leaning over his massive biceps and just staring at him, not saying anything, just waiting for him to finish. And it seems like Mr. Green has a deficiency when it comes to timing and knowing when to sort of wrap things up.
All right, so I'll just interrupt. I'm like, "Pudge, is this the guy?"
He kind of looks over at you, goes, "This is the one."
This is. Oh, you're right. He does kind of look. I can see why you called him that name. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So
Yes.
hey, Mr. Green, I assume.
He kind of looks over at you, goes, "I'm always surprised at how often my name gets spread around real quick."
Yeah, well, you're here with a couple of friends of mine, and I figured I'd come over and introduce myself and make sure there wasn't any problems with my buddy Pudge here. He's the coolest. He is the coolest guy, and I give him a high five to Pudge.
Yeah, Pudge is just like, Clementina comes from one of the tables that she was sitting at, and she goes, "Oh my God, Green, you're here. Well, where are the others?" And he kind of looks over and he's like, "Oh, I thought Belak was actually pulling my leg a little bit. I was convinced he was one of them tier boys. Well, this is much better. This is great. Okay, do any of you have any money?"
I'm sure you could make up for it somehow.
As more money's getting thrown to me as I'm performing.
You know what,
Just ignore the bard.
I'm gonna talk to Pudge. I'm gonna point to Navik and to Caleb and to Ithis and give him like a few gold. Very obviously, give him a few gold and say, "These are my friends. Make sure they're taken care of, please."
To Pudge?
To Pudge.
Yeah, okay.
To make sure Green knows that I'm giving him money, though.
Okay, yeah. Pudge takes the money and immediately starts fixing plates.
Thanks, man.
And big growlers full of ale and things like that. And Mr. Green's just like, "All right, I see how it's gonna be. Well, listen, Clementina, I don't have 75 gold. There isn't a popcorn machine in the entire world that is worth 75 gold. But apparently Pudge is...
Does it butter itself?
Ooh, those are fancy.
I don't actually know. I don't actually remember a lot from that night.
Well, sounds like you're in some hard luck then, aren't you?
I just want to make it right for this nice ogre man.
He's really mad at you.
So, question. What is broken about this popcorn machine?
Pudge drops everything he is doing. He looks at Caleb and he goes, "I will show you."
Show me, my fine man. Show me.
He like opens the bar and allows you to come into the back kitchen. And back there you see a brass structure that looks like, you know, a popcorn machine might. It's got sort of like the big hopper in the top for boiling of oil, and a big sort of bin with a glass half wall around it to catch all of the popcorn and things like that. It looks a little bit more Rube Goldberg-esque, with like pipes and steam vents all over it. But
Nice. I want this.
that is what it would look like in your imagination if it were not just crumpled. Just basically a ball of parts and like broken structure. And in fact, there's like a couple of gears that keep ticking and twitching as though they're trying to like catch, but nothing's there to actually turn over. It's just like a ticking pile of refuse.
Okay,
And
so go
Pudge
ahead.
just gestures emphatically at it.
I see. So I'm assuming there's nothing specifically broken, just everything.
Everything.
You are perceptive. That man broke my machine. Intentionally. He picked up a small dwarf and threw him at it. And then he picked up the machine and beat the dwarf with it.
I look back at Miss Green and I'm like, he picked up
He's
a
like-
dwarf?
Yes. He does not look very strong, but maybe the dwarf was hollow bone like your bird friend.
I want to hire Pudge to travel with us now.
Yeah, I agree.
Any way I could like kind of like look over it and see if I have the capabilities of possibly fixing it?
Sure, what are your tool proficiencies?
Smithing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you think you could get this thing at least fix the structure. Some of the fine points, like the fine little pieces of machinery and things like that, might need a more delicate hand. But you're pretty sure you could do some work here.
We can totally fix this.
I after investigating it, looking around, when I'll shout out back into to the guys, I'll be like, Manchanos, I need your girly hands.
I cast a minor illusion of a pair of women's hands just floating in the air. I'm like, there you go.
I mean, if
Mr.
you
Green
were-
is taking all this in. He goes, "Oh, I could hang with these kids."
you're not off the cuff yet, sir.
I walk by and give him a couple of finger guns. I'm like, careful.
Yeah, careful. Like seriously.
So all right, I'll go over and take a look. What do you need?
Yeah, you head back into the kitchen. It is just sort of like sausage and ham and things like that are just hanging from hooks all over the back room. There's
I like it.
it's like surprisingly clean in here.
Welcome to the sausage party.
Yeah, and in the corner you see the shattered remnants of what was once Pudge's popcorn machine.
We're going to
You
fix
did this?
No.
You did this?
Well, Mr.
no,
Green
no, I'm
did.
talking to Green.
Yeah.
You did this.
I didn't.
What did
No.
you do? What did you like? Hit it with a dwarf or something? My God. All right, fine. What do I have to set on fire?
No fire yet.
Fine.
How DM? How do you want us to do this?
So is your attempt? You want to basically set up shop here and start working on it?
I'll set up
Well-
shop and start working on it. Sure.
All right. Yeah. So go ahead and give me a smithing check. If Menchinos wants to assist, let me know what skill you're going to use to do so.
If only
Oh.
Rosie was there with her tiny nimble hands.
Does anyone have mending?
So, does it look? No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if this does.
I think it's on the cleric spell.
Yeah,
list,
but
you
I don't know
would
if
have
it'd be
had to have chosen
prepared.
it. Yeah.
Does it on a quick glance? Does it look magical or purely mechanical?
Looks mechanical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the slightest damn idea what I would use then. Maybe trying to piece it together, like puzzle it out, type of thing.
Sure, like
Like
an investigation kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Intelligence based. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
still not my strongest suit, but one of the better. scores.
Is your intelligence above 12,
Yes.
or is it a positive modifier?
Yeah, it's a +2
Negative
on it.
4.
Okay, in that case, I will allow Caleb to take advantage.
Cool.
Very nice.
Oh, there we go.
So the clanking commences in the back of the shop as you are using Pudge's pizza oven to basically heat the pieces and sort of shape them back into. It's a sort of like you're in the forge district, and yet you're using the pizza oven that is just handy. It's
I'm
getting-
totally welding. I'm totally welding with a like firebolt.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why I said fire.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, you guys are making progress at this thing. And out in the common room, Navik, your bear is sort of sniffing around all of the patrons, looking for something to eat. It appears to be a carnivores type restaurant here.
What about the sauerkraut?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, there's like a big trough of sauerkraut on every table.
At the front of the stage, I still have a plate full of fish.
That's true too.
Is it
Um,
pescatarian, maybe?
Maybe. I don't think anyone's tried. But yeah, Tulip is sort of like jumping up, putting her paws on the table, and kind of like sniffing around the sauerkraut. The patrons are just like,
We need to teach her to dance.
"Is this okay?"
Need to get her a fez.
We do need to get her a fez.
Is she sniffing around all the tables or just my one that I'm at?
The closest tables, yeah. There's like 3 nearby, and she keeps kind of going from one to the next. She hasn't quite figured out begging yet, so she's really just like putting her paws up on people's laps and leaning over.
I try to use some sauerkraut to. I'll put the bowl of sauerkraut on the floor. To
Can
say,
you just take this table's bowl and put it down for Tulip?
What are they gonna do?
Aren't I at the table?
Aren't you what, sorry?
Aren't I at a table?
I assumed you were standing at the bar, but if you want to find yourself a table,
Okay, no, I'll be at the bar.
Yeah.
I'll just-
you just walk over, grab this table's
Sauerkraut.
condiment bowl, and put it down on the ground for Tulip.
Yep.
It's gone like that. Yeah, there's just like little strands of cabbage, pickled cabbage hanging out of her face. She seems very happy.
Meanwhile, the people at the table like, hey.
Rosie, there is a half elf in like a big red hat, and a not a suit per se, but definitely something that is a little bit more formal in this environment. And he has slowly moved closer to the stage and is now just like sitting on a chair, moved away from the table, just like looking up at you.
Groupie! Groupie!
Groupie! I got a groupie!
Oh, I'm so proud of Rosie.
It's a noble groupie.
They pay the best.
Yeah, he's just enthralled as you kind of like switch between your various instruments, and you hear clanking across the other way. It's a little distracting. You're not sure what the hell's going on. You assume this is how Pudge cooks.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like the occasional like burst of fire and smoke that come out of the kitchen window.
I assume a lot of swearing in Dwarvish.
Yeah, you definitely
In
hear
Infernal.
in Infernal, some familiar voices, and at the end of your set, the man kind of like stands up like this.
Well, I'm going to give a big flourish of a bow, and I'm going to pull the feather from my hat and hand it to him.
He goes, he like takes it and he puts it in his own hat, and he kind of leans closer and he goes, "I will cherish this forever."
Creepy.
Yeah. He says, "You're Rosie, right?"
It is I, famous
I-
Rosie.
I've never heard of you actually, but I am a big fan now.
Why, thank you.
How would you like an exclusive contract to play at all of the bars that I own in Baumgarten?
I will have to discuss it with my partner first.
I'm sorry.
Well, my partner isn't with me. We perform together, and I couldn't go anywhere without my partner.
Oh, so it wouldn't be like a solo thing.
No, I do not. I do not do that. Just as you understand, I need protection. You know, with all these crowds and stuff.
Yes. I mean, I can hire extra security.
Like, oh, this is going on. I'm just starting to edge away.
I'm quite wealthy, you know.
His name is Mr. Gray, isn't it? Isn't it?
Caleb, you finish sort of getting this thing sort of reassembled. Pudge is looking at it and he goes, "Does it make popcorn again?"
Let's give it a try.
Good. It's very important. It does one thing. He goes and he like puts a little bit of oil in. He puts a little bit of kernels in. And he goes, "This is why it's worth so much money. Watch." He opens up like this secret drawer and he like pours this powder in it and closes it back up. He goes, "It's flavor blasted." He like presses the on button. The whole thing starts clanking around like some horrible steam contraption. And within a few minutes, there's just like a pile of popcorn in the bottom of the machine. And then there's like this whistling, and it sounds like the machine is just building and building and building of pressure. And it starts to get a little concerning. A couple people like take a step back from it. It's starting to whistle like to the point where only dogs can hear it. And all of a sudden, all of the glass all around it just goes white as this explosion happens inside of it. And Pudge throws his hands in the air and he goes, "Flavor blast!"
I want to know how long you worked on that.
He opens up the window, coughs in like the residual dust, and then starts like handing out little popcorn bags. And he goes, "Mr. Green is off the hook. He owes me nothing."
Oh, he owes us now, though. Don't worry.
Yes, I suspect that's fair.
And this is awesome popcorn. Nice. This is great, Pudge. Thanks.
Yeah, it's just like garlic. It's like garlic powder.
I don't care. I could
Yeah.
I could hate it. I'm still playing this guy because
Yeah.
I totally have a tiefling crush on him now.
Nice.
Oh, tiefling crush.
All right, so Mr. Green is sort of like leaning on the bar and like catching up with Clementina and talking quietly. Does anyone want to do anything specific? I assume
I'm
Rosie's
totally listening
set's
to all
done.
that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back down, give Mr. Green a bag of popcorn.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
come back and join you guys and go, "Chino's help."
What's up?
I'm like, there's this. I was nice to the elf man, and now he's being creepy. But he says he's rich and offering exclusive performances.
Which one?
And I point to the one that now has my feather.
You see a man now holding a red hat with a feather in the brim, just like this.
You gave him a feather. Oh, jeez. Okay, fine.
I thought
No,
I was
no,
being
you're fine.
nice.
You are. You're being. We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
No, it's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Play the crowd. You're awesome. Don't ever change. So I'm gonna go over to the guys and say, "Hey, heard you're looking to hire my friend Rosie and I."
I'm just gonna be leaning over waving
Oh,
from behind the bar.
Yes. Are you the partner she mentioned?
Yes, I am.
You're quite a bit more intimidating.
But that's part of the whole shtick, and it also helps because I'd really, really hate for anything bad to happen to my friend Rosie.
Oh, I understand that. I was going to offer her an exclusive contract, quite lucrative.
That sounds good. That sounds great. Unfortunately, we do have some time pressures, but what I'd love to do is get a copy of the contract. I'll get a rider together, and I'm sure we can come to an agreement.
Yes, perhaps we can. Would she be performing with you?
She does most of the stage work. I do a little bit of the pyrotechnics, and I just do a little spark flash of fire. And,
wow.
Sound effects and things like that. And then I'll cast Alter Self and have my hands sort of go claw. So, and make sure nothing happens.
Yes. Yes, I understand completely. You're like a cross between a stage manager and a roadie.
Let's have some contract and then we'll chat.
He's like, very
Or
well.
die.
My name is Mr. Mold, and we'll be.
Really? I mean, sorry. Mr. Mold. I'm going to make sure I'm spelling that right. MOLD?
Yes, that's correct.
Cool.
In
My
fact,
name is-
I've been knighted, so it's really supposed to be Sir Mold.
That sounds like a cleaning detergent. But okay.
I start to crack up. I can't stop it. I can't help it. I crack up a little bit.
Yeah, his
I'm like-
hat's still like held pressed to his chest, and his like greased back black hair.
Oh God, I love this city. Bring us your information and what you'd like, and we'll give it some consideration. This is a pretty good gig here, and my buddy Pudge, it's pretty awesome.
Oh yes, I'm quite familiar with Pudge. He is my employee. This is my bar.
Oh, you own the place?
I do, yes.
Great. Well, we just fixed your popcorn machine, and so that's running again.
Oh, that will make things much less tedious talking with Pudge. It's all he can talk about.
Well, it's flavor blasted. I totally get it.
I think I get it, but I don't think I like it.
I love Mr. Mold is the best.
But you know what? Like I said, we'll get in touch. We'll put the contract together and
Yes.
and a rider, the whole 9 yards. You know where to find us. And I'm going to turn away and just sort of do a puff of air to try and with the prestidigitation to blow the hat out of his hand.
Yeah, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
my feather.
I love it.
No.
And I'll walk back. I'm like, I think he's fine now.
Okay, thank you. I was nervous. I had this feeling, and I didn't like it.
I still haven't dropped the spell. I'm like, well, having giant claws helps, and I drop the spell and they go away.
So, Navik, you're listening into the conversation between Clementina and Mr. Green.
Yep.
First thing you pick up on is that Clementina is occasionally and accidentally referring to him as Carver.
Okay.
She's like, they're catching up, and she's like, what the hell's happening? Why does everybody know your name? He's like, well, I like to go out a little bit. I can't just stay in that godforsaken hostel. Gritspike is not an entertaining man. And she's like, well, remember why we're doing this. We're trying to keep you alive. And Carver's just like, I can take care of myself, you know that. And Clementina kind of looks over and kind of scans the group that has now assembled with her. And she says, I think we're going to be all right, but we're gonna have some long days ahead. We need to go back to wherever you're staying and gather the rest. Do you have anything else you need to do here? Any other debts that we should be aware of? And Mr. Green, or Carver, he just kind of is like, nope, everything's good.
Insight check.
Me too. Well, you're not there. Insight check.
Nevik, go ahead.
Damn it, I'm not. You're right.
Go ahead, Nevik.
I believe everything.
Yeah. This is a stand-up guy. If he didn't steal that role for no particular reason, you might even say you like him.
Yeah. It's like, why are you taking this role? Damn.
Says the guy
Guy.
who's robbed every magic shop he's ever seen.
Yeah, technically I've only seen one, so yeah.
I guess you didn't rob the little halfling toy maker, so that was good.
Yes.
You did
That
pay.
is true. Yep.
So Clementina comes rushing over to Caleb. She's like, "Okay, I think we should probably keep moving. Should we head back to the hostel?"
Sure. I'll look around. I'm assuming Machinos and Rosie are kind of busy still, or
Well, I'm not right there listening, but I am keeping an eye on everybody as well because we're done playing, right, Rosie?
Yeah, the common room is empty again. You expect there to be probably another round coming through.
Yep.
You're not obliged to play all night unless you happen to be taking one of the rooms. Yeah, exactly.
How much did I make or we make from the last show?
So the first show you had 17 silver and 3 copper.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me roll. The second show you make 22 silver, 8 copper.
Nice.
What the
Not too
heck is
shabby.
that?
okay. I'll mention to the rest that we're gonna head back to the Grit Spike Hostel.
Mhm.
They can feel free to meet us there, or if they're staying with Pudge, they can stay with Pudge.
We're back like 2 seconds.
Yep.
A hostel?
It's where the rest of the group are.
I don't know. I kind of like this place.
There's 2 rooms.
Let's do it.
We're staying here.
Are we actually staying the night here, or what?
I don't know what you
we
guys
are.
are doing. I'm not going to a hostel.
I mean, I just need to know so I can inform Giorgio.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We probably should stay the night instead of traveling in the dark, but that's up to you guys. I don't know if you want to be
Well, what time is it?
delivering our cargo. About now, it's probably about 10 at night, because it was 8 o'clock earlier.
Yeah, there's been. Well, you played for 1 full shift as well, so it's probably been 4 hours since then. It's
Okay.
it's pretty late now.
Oh, okay.
You know, unless you have to get your cargo out tonight, I think it's probably better to get some rest.
Okay, we can do that. I'll check out the hostel and see what the others are in.
Okay.
Cool.
So, Caleb, you head to the hostel with who are you bringing with you?
I'll take Clementina, but if anybody else wants to come, they can.
Okay. Carver will go with you, Mr. Green.
Carver?
Yeah. I don't know that Caleb knows that just yet, but Navik could have told you.
No.
No. Okay. It's Mr. Green.
Got it.
Mr. Green, Clementina, or Anita, and Caleb head to the hostel, and everyone else stays at the Whistleblowers Tavern.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head back out across the city. It's quite late, and yet there are still sort of the same amount of people on the streets as there seems to always be here, and sort of moving about on some sort of unseen schedule. And you find your way back to Grit Spikes. As you step in, once again, the massive 9-foot-tall orc is still sitting in that tiny little chair. And he kind of looks up at you again and starts giving you the spiel about what you get if you want to stay here.
Hi, Mr. Gritspike. We're just here to check on the others. I'll point at Mr. Green.
Okay.
Don't get up. We don't want you to ruin your desk or anything. We'll just find our way.
He says, only Green. Nobody else goes back.
Even if we want to see our friends?
He kind of slides a little bucket on his desk that is filled with gold coins. He goes, rent a cot. You can go back.
I'll drop 2 coins.
Okay. He goes, okay. He hands you 2 little tickets that have
Okay.
little numbers on them. And you find your way back. Is anyone familiar with how capsule hotels in Japan sort of look and feel?
Yeah.
I do.
There's like
Yep.
sort of common rooms that are for like bathing and things like that, but everything's very sort of stark and like utilitarian. It's a lot like that in here. You see like a lot of people just sort of moving around in towels. Everyone seems sort of chill, but there's not a whole lot in terms of amenities. And Mr. Green kind of moves to one area in the back. There's like a sort of narrow hallway is the best way to describe it. And it's just packed with little cots. And you see 5 others sort of look up and see Mr. Green arrive, as well as Clementina, and you see their faces sort of illuminate a little bit. There's a reduction in stress immediately on their faces, and they all stand up and start sort of just asking questions. After a little bit, Clementina says, okay, so everybody, I should introduce you to, and she kind of looks around the corner a little bit. She goes, this is Caleb Dragonhewer. He is sort of why this is all happening. He has incredible stories. I wish I could do them justice, but trust me when I say this is our best chance at surviving. And they all kind of look at Caleb a little skeptically. And Mr. Green kind of comes over. He's like, I thought I had a sense about you. Well, he puts his hand out and he goes, name's Carver Grenning. I assume you're not actually Belak.
No, and I'm assuming you're not actually Mr. Green by the name, so...
Yeah. He kind of like points at a couple of people. He goes, that's Lena, Harvak, Morden, and then these 2 twins over here, Pellin and Prellin.
I will greet them all. It's like, so how long have you guys been in Baumgarten?
Probably about 40 days now.
And you were just waiting for Clementina's word?
Basically, we're kind of, our money's stretched a little thin. We all got a little bit, we pick up work where we can. There's no shortage of it in a city like this, so we've been extending it as best we can, but not feeling safe enough to travel north.
Yes, and that's why I am here. We are traveling north.
Not to Bremwick, I hope.
Technically no. past Bremwick. But the end goal is Remodna.
Carver goes, Ramodna. Huh. I might actually be able to stay warm there.
Maybe.
I like it. Yeah. I've never been myself, but I've heard good things about it. All right, Ramodna.
So, plan. We have a ship. We're taking it to Bremwick. We can probably get you over to probably as far as like maybe Addersfield.
All right.
Maybe.
So we're gonna sail on by Bremwick.
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. And what do we do? What do we do about the patrols?
Oh, that you can leave to my group and I.
Okay.
I mean, unless any of you are, trained and able to fight.
Well, I mean, Clementina's no slouch, and I can hold my own in a fight, says Carver.
So I heard.
Against the popcorn machine.
And with the popcorn machine.
He says, the others, they have skills of a different variety. You need something planted, stolen, scouted. Pelin and Prelin are your people.
And the others?
Well, he kind of sort of gestures. So Lena is a human. So is Carver. Harvac is a dragonborn. Morden is a dwarf, and Pelin and Prelin are both gnomes.
Yeah.
And now you can break out your gnome voice.
I'll go to the dwarf and it's like, are you from the Bullheads or where are you from?
No, Gold Mountain. I was from Craigstone.
Ah. How is that area?
Well, it's gone now.
Gone.
Yeah. The Inquisition put the whole thing to the torch. My family, friends. Yeah. I paid a couple of caravans to take me north, and here I am.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. We will fight back eventually. That can be assured.
Well, yeah, you've got my talents. As long as we're kicking.
And your talents are, if you don't mind me asking?
Mostly crafting, stonework, metal.
I hear crafting is like, I do beautiful paper mache.
Yeah. You need your shield bedazzled? I can fix that right up.
Oh, bedazzling. So cool.
Maybe you can get your hammer modified.
Fair enough. I'll go to, was it Lena?
Lena, yeah.
Lena.
Sorry, I'm trying to scribble the names down here.
Yep.
And I'll ask her, so where are you from?
Actually, I'm from Bremwick.
Oh. Place close to my heart. Well, used to be.
You're from Bremwick?
Not from, but we helped initially save Bremwick.
We only saved the day, you know.
Oh.
What's this we? You weren't there, Rosie.
All my work. Lena says, she's like, well, yeah, we fled during the invasion. We were able to get out before the winter set in.
Good to hear.
I was in Adiaco for a while. It's quite expensive though.
Yes, it can be. Your talents. What kind do you have?
Actually, I was a diplomat, so I can talk to people. I understand trade and policy making, if that's useful to you at all.
It probably can be, yes, actually. Well, welcome to the group. We will set sail bright and early tomorrow morning, so get some rest, collect anything that you need, any supplies, anything that you want to bring, and come the morning we will sail to Green's Cross and beyond.
Okay, that sounds good. Carver kind of leans over to Caleb and he's like, listen, I don't know if you've ever stayed in Baumgarten before, but you probably don't want to stay over at the Whistleblower.
Oh, we'll stay here.
Actually, you're probably okay. Your friends maybe, they're a little pink-lunged.
They'll take care of themselves. They'll be fine.
I feel like Rosie would have one of those really cool face masks they get in Japan that look like a little anime character that covers
Yeah.
for breathing in the smog.
I figured we were going to go back to the ship.
To sleep?
Yeah.
You could do that
Well, that's
too.
where we slept before for like
2 days.
how long?
Mhm.
2 days?
Can I
Rosie.
prestidigitation my lungs?
Oh, there you go. That's not a bad idea.
Only if you can see them.
Yeah,
Oh, we will if we keep coughing. That's where
that can be arranged.
Rosie's learning a lot from Mentinos and totally like down for making money and putting on shows. Kind of idolizing him a little bit. It's kind of scary.
So Navik, your intentions are to bring Tulip to the ship and sleep there.
Yeah.
Rosie, you are going to take advantage of your free room and board at the Whistleblower. What about Minchinos?
I'm gonna take the other room at the Whistleblower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Caleb.
I will stay at the hostel just to kind of talk more with the
Sure.
members. I will also head down to the docks to update Giorgio of
Okay.
what the plan is and tell him to get ready. Before I do that, though, I will inquire, probably with Lena, since they've been here for over a month, what materials would be good to bring with us in terms of trade.
Okay. She says, she's like, well, it depends on where you're planning on selling it. If it's Bremwick, it's always like little amenities and things like that, like kettles and like household stuff, kitchenware. It's mostly produced here. I wouldn't say you'd get like a big profit for it, but I mean, in the wake of the invasion, there's certainly buying.
And if we say like more around like Fox Run, even at Addersfield?
Fox Run, at the moment, to be honest, they're just looking for building materials.
Okay. I will give her. I mean, it's not much because I don't have much. I need to go to my Minchino's bank, but
He's busy feeling smug in his hotel room, and he's not really sure why.
yeah, sure.
As you rent your cot.
I will give her. We'll go with 40 pieces of gold to try and obtain enough stuff for trade, and tell her where
Sure.
to kind of bring it, or tell her where the ship is to inform Giorgio, so that he can
Okay.
send out guys to pick it up.
Okay. And do you go down to the docks? When
Yes.
you said you go. Okay.
Yeah.
When you go down there, you see a crowd built up around that barge.
Okay.
A lot of men in like stovepipe hats, and like jackets with tails on them, and they're all very like They're all going, yes, very nice. Sort of blustering to each other.
Do I see this because I've headed down there as well?
Okay, yeah. We'll say you guys sort of meet on the way to. You're going to bed, and
I'm
Caleb's
bringing
going to
Tulip.
fill in. Yeah. Okay, and you got Tulip with you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we'll get there and I'll be like, what's going on?
You see Giorgio on the front of the ship going. It's like I keep trying to tell them to go, and they're not leaving.
And what do they want?
You see them. They are all crowded around something.
Navic, can we
Yeah,
make a path?
push through.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, those better not be what I think it is.
The tank?
I am going to push through to.
Yeah. It
find
is
out.
the tank.
Oh, those motherfuckers.
They're all swapping stories. Like, I knew a collector back in Bosha who had 3 of these, all different kinds, and it's like shooting lights and things like that. It was fantastic.
Like, oh, so you people are interested in the tank?
Is it off the ship or on the ship?
It was on the
It's
ship.
on the ship.
It's on the ship.
Okay.
They all kind of turn to you. It's like, the owner arrives, yes?
The owner of the ship, yes, not necessarily of some of the items on it.
Well, good man, it's your lucky day. We would like to purchase this beautiful piece of machinery.
I will kill you.
I won't do anything.
I will disintegrate your.
One of them comes forward and he's like, I am prepared to offer you a small, well, not so small sum, I should say. 5,000 gold pieces. I can pay in platinum if it serve you.
Unfortunately, I believe this wonderful piece of machinery is well above your price range.
Well, it does have quite a few nicks, and there appears to be bits and pieces of flesh. It seems like whoever is taking care of it doesn't really care for its majesty all that much. How about 6,000 gold pieces?
I want to do an
It's gonna be a
insight
murder.
check on him.
Sure, go
Sure.
ahead.
Oh,
No advantage, unfortunately.
So what are you trying to suss out?
See if he's saying the right price, like
Oh, okay.
if it should be higher or lower.
Got it. So
Because Navic knows numbers.
Yes,
You-
exactly. Well,
I mean,
do.
Trapper John comes through this place sometimes. So
you see them like focusing on the faults of this of the tank. There are obviously, I think it's got 10 hit points left or something like that.
15,
Something.
but yeah.
15 hit points out of 200.
Yep.
It's quite beat up. It doesn't quite look like the popcorn machine, but like there's like
Probably
a
still more has pieces here and there too.
yeah. It also has like bits and pieces of all the animal heads that have been draped over the top of it.
One. The troll was hanging from the Remoras.
I thought you had like multiple heads on it at certain points.
He probably actually. Who are we kidding?
But yeah, they're focusing. So you think that they are definitely making lower offers, but it's their concern about its condition is
Reasonable.
almost entirely overshadowed by how excited they are to see one of these in their city.
Yeah.
Run back and get Minchinos. Or sell it and then he'll murder you later. It's fine.
No, Caleb wouldn't do that.
One of them looks at you. He goes, "Look at you, you man who is clearly of noble birth. You got a beautiful set of armor. I think you could probably scuff out some of these. Maybe get some beautiful inlays. Maybe gold. 6,500 gold pieces.
A lot of money.
Tell you what.
I can pay in gems too, if you're worried about carrying around that much coinage."
Tell you what. We're here the rest of the night. We're not leaving till the morning. You come back in the morning. And you can offer no less than 12,000.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Then I will talk to the owner of the machine.
I will be here in the morning with a more than fair offer, a competitive offer.
We will see.
You see the condition of this thing.
I see the condition. I also see the uniqueness and the sheer craftsmanship in
Rarity.
terms of the machinery. The machinery.
How flammable are their hats?
They're
You
made of
think
metal.
They would go up like flash paper.
Oh, yes.
If
It's
you
like,
were
all
here.
right. In the morning, then.
Yes, sir.
All right. What was your name?
My name is Bilak.
All right, Bilak. Giorgio, we apologize for holding up your crew. Come on, chaps. Let's go to the bar. They all like totter off.
They're going to the whistleblower, aren't they?
All right. Unless anyone has any pressing issues, let's flash forward to the morning.
Okay.
Hooray.
I need Navik, Rosie, Ithis, and Manchinos to all make me Constitution saving throws.
Oh gosh.
Even without being on the ship?
Oh,
Yep.
God damn it.
With advantage,
say yes?
right?
Yes, even on the ship.
It was totally with advantage.
Yeah. Then we're good.
Do I have to make one for the bear?
You do.
we all need like masks.
Do I have a character sheet for her yet?
I don't think so.
No, she has a +1 to Constitution.
Prestidigitate lungs.
That's what we need.
Gino's like trying to shove his hand down his throat.
Whatever he's into, man.
I mean, you could go the other way, I guess. So it's a bit longer.
Yeah, there's a shorter route to the lungs. It's fine.
That's true if you have a sharp, pointy thing.
All right.
Like a Mateo.
Oh, air.
All right. So, Caleb, you, Clementina, and the rest of the crew, all awake, perhaps a little stiff from sleeping on such a tiny cot, but it's really not. It's actually probably a step up from the barge, and certainly the air quality is much nicer. And you guys pack up, and I assume head to
ship.
straight to the ship. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Does Mr. Mold come back at all?
well, when you wake up, first thing you wake up, you basically pack off, and you are like popping up like a sturdy gray lamb, and
Robot.
you're just,
Hold on.
Discord dying.
Thanks for
Oh. We are having technical difficulties. Please hold. Are we back?
I am.
hello.
Yep, I got 3 green bars again.
Good old Discord.
Wow, that was you guys. Yeah, you say. I heard when you wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and then
You're dead. Dead.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me when the laptop is dying. So
Yes, you wake up coughing up a gray, sooty-colored phlegm, and
Ew.
Rosie and Navik and Tulip, you all have grit lung.
Grit lung.
Navik as
Spike.
well?
Navik as well,
Really? With the 20?
with a 20.
Damn. Okay.
I don't feel as bad rolling a 1 now.
Yeah.
So the only thing that this does mechanically is, aside from the roleplay opportunity to be a hacky mess. Yeah.
Lovely. Joe's got it down pat.
Until it is sort of cured, which can happen just by getting into clean air for a few days. It escalates obviously, but the first tier, if you were to make a dash action, you must first make a con save.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just have a coughing fit. So no real mechanical problems yet, but it builds up the longer you're in the city.
Cool. All right. But yeah, no, Mr. Mole didn't leave anything for us or anything at this point.
Yeah, when you come down from your room, Pudge is in the common room, sort of slinging eggs and bacon, and there's really just one person in the common room at the moment, and it is Mr. Mold.
Sup, Pudge? Fist bumps him.
Yeah, he like reaches out over the bar. He goes, "You slept good, yeah?"
Oh, like a baby. Sorry, a little something in my throat, frog in my throat.
You get used to it.
We eat frogs.
From
Hey,
France.
got some breakfast? Awesome.
Yes, here. He slides it over. It's way too much. It's got to be
I'll
like
come down.
15 eggs and like 12 pieces of bacon on one plate.
I'm just gonna ask for an extra plate. I'm just gonna steal. Can I steal from your plate, Minchinos?
Sure, yeah, no, this is for you too. Come on over.
I'll scoot over on my little. I'll pull myself up onto the stool and just little legs flailing.
Mr. Mold is like just standing about 10 feet back from you, not like interjecting. He doesn't want to be rude, but he's standing there with his feather in one hand and his hat in the other.
Mr. Mold, come on over. You want a piece of bacon?
Oh, yes, actually. I have not eaten anything today.
I mean, it's your bacon, so.
It's your bacon.
I guess that's true. And he kind of like breaks off the tiniest piece of bacon. He puts it in his mouth and goes,
Oh,
so rich.
I,
so cute.
I hate him with every fiber of my being. I want to stay in the town and take all of his bars away from him.
Well, we're doing the next few sessions.
D&D Mafia or something like.
Yep.
This guy is like triggering everything on Minchinos.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the nobility thing.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, well, I don't want to presume to ruin your breakfast with paperwork or anything like that, but I do have. And he kind of slams this like stack of papers on the table. He's like, I've got it all prepared.
Wow, that's not what I was expecting.
That's a lot of information there.
It's really just formalities.
Yes, I'm sure. However, I hope you understand that our formalities are just as important, and we have to make sure we go over this and make sure there's nothing that's going to be counterproductive for us.
What's this thing
yes.
about death or dismemberment?
Oh, only that I will pay your next of kin a certain amount if an unruly patron were to, take
How would there
advantage
be
of a
death or
situation.
dismemberment?
It's
What
just,
kind
you have to cover all your bases.
of parties do you have?
They sound actually kind of awesome.
Rosie's terrified.
It's like there are a great number of bars in which you would be able to play in, and some of them cater to different crowds. You understand?
Sure. I'm going to start like looking through, pretending to look through and look over things carefully, and like some of these clauses and percentages. Now, I'm no math person. I'm going to be honest with you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to. You remember the big guy with the loincloth? He was here last night. Tattoos, a bear.
I remember the bear. Yes.
Yeah. So he's our
Is
legal
the bear
counsel.
for sale? Maybe part of the show as well, because I can off the offer.
Absolutely, I'm sure we can work out a deal there. But he is our legal counsel, so I'm going to have him go over this just to be sure. It's a formality on our part, but hope you understand we've had some unscrupulous dealings in the past.
Oh yes, I understand. Of course, yes.
Just this is how we cover our own bases.
That's quite all right. Please take it to your lawyer, and maybe we can put in a clause about the bear.
Sure. You know what? I'll come back tonight with our rider and his opinion, and I'm sure we'll have our chat then.
Excellent. This is lovely. I'll leave you to the rest of your breakfast. Please have your fill. It's difficult not to here. I'll talk to you later, Pudge. And he kind of leaves after sort of stealing another glance at Rosie. And
So he actually leaves the bar?
He does, yes.
I'm going to ask Pudge for like a metal wash basin.
He points you into the kitchen.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna wink at him, put the contract in the wash basin, and cast firebolt at it, and then just come back out and finish eating my breakfast.
Pudge is like, I don't like paper either.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really like Mr. Mold between you and me, but he's your boss. I don't want to speak ill.
He lets me do my thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you got a good bar here. I don't want to ruin it for you. So we finish breakfast, and I'll tip Pudge a little extra something.
Okay.
A couple extra gold, and then we'll head out, I guess.
Okay.
Well, Rosie left. She doesn't get to say anything. We're gonna leave.
Yeah. So you all converge on the docks, where once again there is a crowd of stuffy tycoons, sort of like sharing little tiny teacups of on the docks, and badgering to one another about all the different things they've collected and have on display in their homes.
I am just walking forward, going, and then I'll just slip into my my persona.
Mm-hmm.
Just head on over. Like, we got a party going, don't we, Caleb?
Yes, we do.
Whoa, what brings you gentlemen down to the docks? You are not dressed as longshoremen.
They all kind of like, oh, yes, well, yes. Actually, by all means.
Yeah, these fine people are interested in your magnificent little crab tank. If you're interested in selling or not.
To buy the tank.
To buy our tank.
Yes, actually, it might interest you to know this is actually what is called an apparatus of Kvalesh. It's quite rare.
Oh, I'm aware of what it is. We just call it the tank. It's kind of fun. You missed it when it had a Ramorhaz head on it that we had killed.
I'm sorry.
What?
That was pretty. It was a pretty good sight to see. However, unfortunately, it is not for sale. If somebody is a artisan in your fine city, though, I would be very, very grateful if we could work out a deal to have some repairs done on her. She's seen a little bit. She's been to the top of the what's the name? The Leviathan Expanse. Been to the top of the Leviathan Expanse, come down again. Was part of our effort to free Bremwick from the Slot invasion. So this tank's seen some shit, and I'm not interested in really selling it unless you want to come at me with an obscene amount of money.
Well, I had come down here prepared to offer you 9,500 gold pieces, but...
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was dealing with somebody who didn't really understand what this was. I can explain it to you if you'd like a little better.
I did tell them no less than 12 to start, but...
Well, your friend also didn't tell us that this tank was serviceable.
I'll do a quick animate object on it and have it walk around and wave at them.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no, it's autonomous, as you can see.
Ooh.
Goodness gracious. Well.
So I hope you
mutter to each other.
understand that there is a great deal of sentimental value attached to this as well. This has been through a lot with us and has seen us through some things. So
I understand now. Your friend here didn't tell us the finer details.
I understand he was a little reluctant because, I'm sure he wanted to make sure I was here and be able to deal with you fine gentlemen. I think that this as a museum piece, even in its current state of repair, it's priceless.
Nothing is priceless. Let's be honest here.
You're absolutely right. And I'm thinking I'm going to murder them all.
If he's right there with you.
So, what was that gnome from Lumericad's name? Oh, he said something about like 100,000 gold to have it in the Academy Museum at Lumericad. And that was a while ago too, wasn't it?
Make a deception check.
Bitch, please. Oh, that's a terrible roll too.
They kind of look over to it and they lean over. They're whispering. So,
unless of course you had
the
something
amount of work it needs.
Oh,
the specialist it would need to go to have it repaired.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I was asking about that. I would love to have a chat with a specialist like that.
Well, we certainly have our people, but
okay. I'm sure I'd be willing to help pay. I would pay a finder's fee for such information. Of course, I understand that information is valuable as well.
One of them shoves the main guy that's been talking to the side, and he goes, "Listen to me. I am prepared to offer you 13,500 gold pieces for the machine as is. You can take it or leave it."
I'm sorry, who are you?
Well, I'm Gromley.
Gromley? Oh my god! You're not one of the Clinker Gromleys, are you?
How dare you! He goes stomping off down the docks.
You're really attached to this hunk of junk, aren't you?
I am not. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Anyway,
the little one that was talking originally goes, "Well, now you've upset Gromley. It's going to take all week to get him happy again."
Is that? Do you care?
He's quite boisterous,
Yeah, he pushed you aside. Yeah, it's kind of a dick move.
I agree.
Yeah, see, gentlemen like us, I'm sure we can come to an agreement. You know what? We're going to be setting sail this shortly. You seem like a nice fellow. Instead of taking it all the way to Lumericad and getting it repaired, why don't we talk about let's see, plus the repairs, plus the depreciation and reappreciation. Also, some of the enchantment might actually need to be a little bit recharged. So let's knock that down, knock that off the price, and say I'll part with it for 40,000 gold. This is part of the savior of Bremwick and the beater of the Slad invasion. Do you know how many Slad this thing killed by itself?
I have purchased quite a number of things from that event. They haven't quite reached valuable yet, but maybe in a decade.
So you see the big fellow over here and the gentleman you spoke to last night, and myself, we're actually part of the people that actually saved Bremwick, the heroes of Bremwick and all that. So this is there's definitely added, I hate to use the term celebrity value.
Well, I've never heard of any of you.
Yeah, no, that's fair, because I'm sure that some of the news doesn't really get in here that often, but...
He says, "I think Gromley has made an offer higher than I would be willing to pay, but I thank you for entertaining us at the very least."
And I'll have the tank do a little dance and wave at them. Like, autonomous tank, okay.
And he says, it's a pleasure meeting you. Please, for the sake of the art, do clean it up a little bit.
I'll prestidigitate across the front of it. And
They kind of move down the docks.
Mhm.
And Giorgio comes over. And he's like holding his head like this, and he's like, 13,500 gold pieces?
I know, right?
Do you know how big a ship we could buy with that?
Do you know how big a douchebag those people are? I'm not interested in
would
selling
do
them. I'm not interested
horrible
in
acts
them,
for
'cause
500 gold.
They would then turn around, throw some tin foil on it, slap it together, and sell it for 40. So, no, forget it. I'm not giving them the satisfaction.
Meanwhile, we are dragging this thing around the world.
I'm riding in it. It is my thing.
It's true.
The last time you used this thing, I believe we were careening down a ice ramp.
It was pretty awesome.
And that wasn't even being used. You were just sitting in it.
You know, I'm surprised it survived.
I'm
me
surprised
too,
it
yeah.
survived, and we could have made a good amount of money
Yeah,
selling
it hasn't
it.
been used in combat since it got nailed by those frost salamanders.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
last
those
time. It was
salamanders.
It's
Yeah.
more of
Gosh.
Minchinos's and sometimes this is kind of cover.
Chariot/tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had had more time here, I was going to make a serious effort to try and get it repaired, but we were only going to be here a night.
So we should have sold it.
Well, maybe next time you can find a tank and make it your own and customize it and deal
Wait.
with it. Then
Wait. We
Technically, it's a
found
group.
the tank.
Rosie,
I'm-
Rosie's
I
just
just
sitting there going, what?
Minchinos just walks away.
And for the record, I waited for your comments before we could sell it. I could have sold it.
I appreciate that.
All right. The Clementina and Carver Grenning and the rest of the crew pile on to this barge that is now quite crowded with all of the animals and now a supply of like kettles and pans that Lena was able to acquire
Cool.
hastily in the morning, plus the five of you, and you
A
pile
tank.
on with Giorgio, and he says, "All right, everybody ready?"
Should be.
Got my bagpipes.
Could have had more room
Oh,
if we
boy.
sold the tank.
Could have
So-
more room if I throw you overboard too.
We're heading north then to
Yep,
Greens.
to north. Yes, please.
Are we docking in Greens Cross?
I'll turn to the group. Do we
I
want to beeline
guess.
it to Bremwick or are we docking in Greens Cross?
I mean, what do we? But do we have business in there?
Is your plan still to drop them off on the road to Kendrick Hill, or are you planning to do?
We were coving. I felt like finding a cove type of thing. I thought.
That's, yeah, and then the second thought that I explained to them during the evening before was that we would probably have them sail with us up, because it would A, save them from having to trek through the wild, and B, would make it much quicker. I will relay this to the group, minus Machinos because he's walked off. Unless you're back.
Well, I'm probably back at this point if we're talking about this stuff.
So yeah, I'll relay the idea that I had was that we could keep these fine people. They could help us out where we need, and we would bring them with us as we get to Fox Run and eventually Addersfield. Thoughts, concerns? Selling
No,
tanks.
The merrier.
sounds fine to me. I don't, unless we really want to go see the mayor again and awesome.
I would rather
I have-
not.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, unless
I-
she has more fireworks that Dice stole.
Good thing Dices isn't here.
I, for
You don't know who
one,
Dace
could
is.
do without
Sounds good. So, we're all in favor of keeping them with us as we travel, and go head straight to Bremwick, the heart
Okay.
of this tier infestation. Again.
Yep. All right. So it is about a 5-day journey to Greens Cross by boat. I will get somebody to deduct 10 gold for everyone's rations and water for that trip.
Okay.
That'll be Minchino's.
Yeah, I'll get that.
And off you go. And it's actually quite a busy
Wait,
river.
can't we just get if this to make food and stuff when we're on the?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
you can create food and water, or food or
Whatever.
water, I should say.
I can totally do that.
Well, we have barrels and stuff. Wouldn't we then technically just be able to create the water and fill barrels and stuff
Well,
like
it
that?
goes away after 24 hours.
Yeah.
But how long?
Yeah,
is
it's 24 hours though, and it's
Yeah,
Do
but
it again.
Yeah,
Theory.
yeah. So it's 2 spell slots a day. One for the food, one for the water, right?
it's create food and water, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay. So it's a spell slot a day.
So just my thought. If he wants to do that.
And how many people does it feed?
Like 15.
I'm double checking.
As am I. 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water. I think we should be fine.
It's quite a bit of food.
I mean, not as much as Pudge would have given us for a single.
That's true.
Yeah, so if you want to set aside a couple of storage things for that and use those spells daily, then yeah, you can just travel for that.
And if you need, I can repair it as well at this, so let me know.
I can.
The
manage.
Okay.
I think the crew will have to bring a little bit on, but they are already paid to do such
Yep.
a thing. So, all right. So 5 days, actually. Let me change the calendar for your night there. And how about we take a 5-minute break here?
Sounds good
Sure.
to me.
Sounds good. This break powered by Oban.
Powered by Steamblower Tavern.
We'll be right
All right,
back.
I'll be right back.
And we're back.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
We have returned.
So,
What up?
All right. So, on your crowded little barge sailing down a wide river, there's a lot of traffic, though, in terms of just shipping up and down towards Bremwick from the sort of Quad City area around Adelyard. And you kind of fit in really well at the moment, because it's pretty much just all merchant cogs and barges moving up and down with all kinds of goods. You're a little overpopulated for a barge, like visibly so, but there are definitely like pallets of like cast iron pans and cookware and stuff like that you're looking to sell. So that helps if you happen to get into sort of Bremwick territory and are sort of searched and things like that.
Mhm.
By the time you start arriving at Green's Cross, obviously the air, it is now the 2nd of Azuros. So you're right in this, like the heart of summer. The smell of sort of the wheat fields. Basically, you're in this huge green belt that runs straight through from the south of Bremwick through Green's Cross all the way down to River Break. And there are ships moving by, like filled with cattle and horses. And there, when you get to Green's Cross, the place is just a buzz with activity. Are you planning on stopping here, or are you going to sail on by?
I thought we were just going to zip on by if we weren't dropping people off.
Yeah, I think we're just zipping on by.
Okay. Giorgio does stop the ship to reprovision a little bit, but aside from, a 3-hour wait, you
3-hour tour?
continue on. Yeah, a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
You are all stranded and lost. No. You continue on to Bremwick. Now, tell me again the plan for Bremwick. As you get close to the city, you start seeing more and more Inquisition ships, sort of moving up and down the river. You get the sense that they too are participating in trade and sort of managing their own economy of a sort. And as you approach the bridge that connects the east side of sort of the Fox Run side of the river to Bremwick, the docks sort of sprawl out on the left-hand side. Are you stopping here, or are you getting your crew past Bremwick as much as you can before? Because I think that was somebody still had a plan to go see Sassel and
Yeah, we were talking about
Maggie and them.
Sassel and
Yeah,
Brock
we're going to see how he's doing.
toys off. Because we have toys for Maggie too, right?
I have 4 toys right now.
So Giorgio says, he's like, all right, should I bring her into port?
I think so. And
Where-
I'm gonna be dressed not in my full like formal super awesome sorcerer robes, but more of like merchant robes type of thing. Dress
Okay.
down a little bit for costuming myself, essentially.
Question. On our travels to Bremwick, is it possible to build some sort of like hidden hatch area in the ship?
Possibly. How much? What are you trying to store?
I want to store everybody's kind of like holy symbols or whatever of Baldur or Odin or whoever they have,
Mhm.
just so that we're not stuck with them either on the ship, visible,
Okay.
or on themselves.
So like a little safe like that would definitely work. Sort of.
Does
in
the barge already have one? If he's a sailing if this guy's a sailing merchant, he probably has something like that already.
If he's worth a damn, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably has something personal. He might be persuaded to like share it.
I mean, I own him right now.
You do, but he's
We,
you know.
we.
Do you tell your boss everything that you have?
Fair.
But if we ask him outright,
Yeah. Do you wanna?
Sure, I'll ask him.
So Giorgio is sort of like working the deck, and you come up to him. He's
Hey,
like,
Giorgio,
yeah.
we're looking to tuck away important things that shouldn't be seen or found.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Smuggling?
some kind of place? Not necessarily smuggling per se, but like
such
you
an
know,
ugly word.
yeah.
It's a profitable word.
Oh yeah, totally.
This definitely wouldn't be profitable at the moment.
Oh. All right. It's not like drugs.
No,
Right?
no.
That's too bad. All right. Well, what is it?
It would be just some holy symbols. That's all.
That seems pretty mild.
There's
Well-
there's a lot of people in Brumwick that don't like said holy symbol, so we just don't want to know at the moment.
You know, just as a thing, it might even be more dangerous to have these than drugs.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to stash them away.
Well, how about this? I got some lobster traps. We could string them up in there and hang them out outside of the boat.
Ooh, I like that. I like that idea.
They should be okay like that. Yeah, I wouldn't see that
Yep.
being a problem.
Now, there are some fish that seem attracted by little shiny things, so you may actually get some lunch too.
Or more trade, depending on how big the lobster cages are.
Oh, this is a great idea.
Right then, so he pulls up this like big crab pot looking thing, and you get your group to sort of string their sort of iconography and amulets and things like that to it.
Yeah. For the betterment of ourselves.
Are you putting your mace in there?
No.
You're gonna keep that on you?
Does it actually have a visible?
The head is a giant eye of Odin.
Damn it.
That's a yes.
I mean, I'd rather
Sasso
not.
made it for you.
Yeah, I'd rather not actually have it in the water.
Okay.
Um.
But you do put your holy symbol in there?
I will keep. Oh.
Damn it, I almost got it by you.
Again, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't planning to do mine just because that would kind of deflate me into like a half fighter.
You're just like a regular guard at that point.
I know, right? Jeez.
Oh.
Because I don't think I have any other weapons on me. I know Navik has like a bajillion of them though.
I have Eduardo's hammer with me.
That's fair. I could use Eduardo. Eduardo was Thor, right? Not that his hammer was
Yes.
anything special. So.
Nope, it was just Eduardo's hammer.
Yeah. So I'll keep my symbol on me. I haven't really had much issues with it on me. Giorgio, where could I store my hammer to be accessible and not in the water?
Right. So you want it? Why can't you just keep it on your back?
The symbol of my deity is frowned upon in Bremwick. And
Oh, the
that's
eyeball
kind of,
thing.
yeah.
People don't like it here, huh?
No, unfortunately.
Bunch of intolerant bigots.
Pretty much, yeah.
What if we painted
Shame.
it with like clown colors and a big like super cat's eye iris?
I am picturing Soul Calibur right now.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I can't imagine an oath of vengeance paladin allowing his symbol to be defaced.
Yep.
Disguised.
Just for funny for me.
Disguised.
He says, "Well, let me show you something." Yeah,
Okay.
he walks to one end of the barge, typically where it is tied up to the docks, and he kind of like stomps on one of the deck boards, and it kind of pops open, and inside you see 3 rapiers, a cutlass, and what looks like the stock of a pistol, although there is no barrel there.
Oh, Giorgio.
That'll work.
You can toss it in there.
Done. I toss it in there.
I assume you're basically crew now, so anytime we go into, let's just say, a little less safe waters, if we're ever boarded, we all throw our weapons to the ground, and first person who can get over here, well, they make a play.
Fair enough. Sounds good to me.
So you put your mace down, and he slides the board closed again.
I'll approach Navik afterwards, being like, "You got any spare weapons I could use for the moment?"
I'm like a dealer right now.
Weapons arms dealer.
Yeah, I'm an arms dealer. Let's see here. I have
Add it to your skills.
What's it worth to you?
I
What are you
have
buying?
Eduardo's hammer, warhammer rather. 2 hand axes. How many daggers do I have?
147 javelins.
No, I'm only down to 2. I have 3 daggers on me. I think, did I sell the that glaive?
The bejeweled one that Garrett bought at the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
we
you
did.
I did. Okay.
there like a
I have a hooked stiletto. I have a spear.
Stiletto.
What about all the unidentified garbage we have still?
We should have already identified them. We have a unidentified battle axe.
The stuff that is in the unidentified loot folder is actually at the Pearl and Swine with Sassel.
Okay, so where we're heading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
It was sort of like stuff that people didn't carry out.
And the battle axe is in that list.
What about the unequipped party loot?
I assume the keg of falling chair ale is consumed at this point,
Oh, I'm certain.
Probably, yeah.
and the barrel of good wine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably.
So the rest,
For drunkards.
yeah,
Do
I
I
don't
have
think
that
anyone's
on me?
carrying any of this.
Okay.
I think all that's with Sassel.
Okay, so the battle axe is not available.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, I'll just take Eduardo's hammer for now then.
We can go pick it up when we're at Sassel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're here.
I just gotta get there.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
I have to remember what the hell that battle axe did.
It was a +4 firebrand.
Yeah, totally.
Rosie's like, so who's Eduardo?
He sacrificed it. He sacrificed his life for me.
There you go.
Aw, how nice. Can I write a ballad about him? You have to
Do it.
tell me all about him sometime.
That'd be cool, actually.
Well, we have a free moment. You guys tell me all about him and I'll write something.
I don't really know him.
Yeah, you met very, very briefly.
Yes.
Just staying
Very,
on the ground.
Very briefly.
It's like, I'll write you a poem about him.
So Giorgio's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna bring her into the dock.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna stand up like I own the place as he's doing that, to
Mhm.
sort of just be visible in that regard.
Okay. So the first thing you see when you're about 200 feet from the docks is tier Inquisition activity moving up and down the dockyard. You also note that when you guys were in the city, sort of before the Slot invasion, the city guard were sort of in sort of purple colors, and they represented the house Eldridge, was the king at the time. Obviously, since there are no heirs anymore, Bremwick is undergoing a bit of a transition of like government type, basically, moving from a monarchy to something more akin to like a republic. And at the moment, you don't see any of those colors on any of the guards. And Caleb, as a soldier, and this is probably not a stretch for anyone else, but as a soldier, you immediately assume correctly that the Tier Inquisition are basically the contracted police in Bremwick right now.
Yeah, okay.
Because they were basically the only organized force available.
Yeah.
So as you approach, Giorgio's kind of scanning it. He seems a little concerned, and he says, "That's a lot of activity over there."
Mm-hmm.
Would be with the capital, yep.
All right. Well, as long as you're not worried, I'm not worried. Bring
What's
her,
there to
boys.
worry about? We got nothing to worry about.
What's the worst that could happen?
Trust
As
me.
he says that, as long as you're not worried, I'm not worried. He kind of walks over to the side of the boat, and you see him like empty a pocket into the water.
You'll be fine, Giorgio. You'll be fine.
I just hope they don't have any of them dogs.
They have dogs? I love dogs.
Don't let them sniff you. They'll find your happy pouch. Trust me.
Jesus.
In more ways than one.
Oh man, it's too bad Rosie's so sweet.
You broke a tiefling.
You dock. The crew jumps to the sort of what's it called? The moor.
Yeah.
And start lashing everything up to the dock and pulling goods over. And you are greeted by a number of Bremwick dockyard hands who start sort of carting things and taking inventory. Giorgio goes and meets with the wharf master and begins conversation. And you see a group of inquisitors heading.
I'm just
your
being
dock.
annoying. I'm being annoying. Be careful with that. That's valuable. That's handcrafted and it can't be damaged. And so the Inquisitors are coming over?
Yeah. So one man in a lot of armor, with he's clearly a little warm in the summer heat, with the amount of gear he's got on, big cloak, and a huge shield over his back, and he's got sort of a ledger in one of his arms, and he's just kind of checking things out, taking note of, you assume, the vessel description, what kind it is, how many people are on board, and then he goes over and waits to speak with Giorgio.
Okay.
There are he's got a couple of people with him, one of which is in sort of long robes, looks bored. The other one is just a tall, broad man wearing mostly like leather armor, well made. He looks like an athlete. He is actually not wearing any visible weapons, though.
Just a question for the DM.
Mhm.
You don't have it listed. The peer pressure cooker, that's just an ability. It's not a spell necessarily, right?
Yeah, that is a custom ability.
So it's not something I'm like casting, obviously. It's just something I do.
That's right.
Or
Okay.
pressure
Just
cooker.
double checking.
Your
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
cooker? Yeah.
It's,
Where do you
this is fine. I've only ever used this once.
where do you cook it?
In their armor.
Oh, got it. So they're still waiting for Giorgio, I assume.
Yeah, the wharf master's just finishing up, asking basic, questions about what's being imported.
I'm gonna start walking over there impatiently to go
Yeah.
to Georgie.
Mhm.
What's the hold up? Oh, we have we have to unload this and get it to market.
Calm down. We're doing this fine. Let Giorgio work.
I'm gonna go see what's going on and sort of stomp over there.
Giorgio is like signing off on a couple of pieces of paper, the wharf master seems satisfied and takes his leave, and the Inquisitor steps forward and he goes, "You're the captain of this vessel, I assume?" And Giorgio says, "That's right. We're moving teapots and pans." He's like, "Very well. I see you have some livestock as well. Have they been inspected?" He's like, we had them inspected in Baumgarten." He's like, "Yes, well, I don't trust Baumgarten standards."
I don't blame you.
He says, he kind of makes a gesture over his soldier, and there's some activity at the back of the dock. You can see a couple of people in clerical robes moving towards the ship.
Clerical robes. Okay.
He says, he's like, "What other things you have there? There's only one sort of pallet of goods. You have
Well,
quite a few people."
We have the goods. Also, some of this is part of my traveling group. We're entertainers. I go by the name of Stephen the Magnificent. Maybe you caught my show at the King's Castle a while back. It's been a while since we've been here, but we've taken on a little side business, doing some shipping for a friend of ours in Baumgarten, bringing some really nice cookware and things. The rest of it is all part of my entertainment troupe.
I'm gonna bounce up and be like, "Hi, I'm Rosie."
And that's Rosie.
It's a pleasure. We could use some entertainment in this town.
Oh, I got bagpipes. Want me to go get my bagpipes?
Well, not good. We don't play for free, Rosie. Come on.
Right. Sorry, I forgot.
So where do you hail from normally?
I'm from Ramodna, where the place though I pick some of these folks up down in Bellbuck. That's where Rosie's from, and Green Cross. Bunch of them from Adiaco. You know how you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a wannabe actor and performer there, right?
I've never been myself, actually.
You should go there. You know what? Go there. Go to the leading lady. Say Stephen the Magnificent sent you. It's the
That
best
place is
time.
really cool.
He smiles and he says, "Maybe I will. Maybe
Yeah,
I will."
you
So
do
are
it.
you all vacationing here, or are you here?
No, doing some business. Catching up with what was the name of Cecil's bar? Shit. I don't remember the name of it, but
Swine and Pearl.
The Swine and Pearl.
Or the Pearl and Swine,
Some
one or the other.
friends of ours at the Pearl and Swine, also a relative of one of my troop. Cecil Brickpurse has been a friend of the group for a very long time, and we're looking to catch up as well as sell off. You know what? Do you guys need any pots and pans? They're really good quality.
I'm familiar
Really
with
good.
Sassel. Would he vouch for you?
I believe he would.
He would totally
go
vouch
back-
for us.
We go back pretty far.
He's a good man.
He is.
Do you mind? I'm just going to let my clerics board the ship, check the livestock.
Please.
Sam's a really good pony.
Sure, Digits needs
Mhm.
some looking at.
He's been neglected.
Yeah.
Not neglected, just the travel might have done something to him, maybe.
Turns out he's a girl pony. And
Yeah, he's got no digits.
Aw.
Having Elmer's child.
Digitless.
Or Artax. What a sordid drama that would be.
Could you imagine?
So the mechanics of that. Hold on.
So the two clerics sort of board the ship and they start to cast some spells. Does anyone want to try and identify those
I will.
spells?
Hell yes.
You can use religion or arcana to do so.
Wow, even with a 4.
Wow, good roll.
That's Caleb rolls for you.
Yeah, that's true. They're always bad.
That is true.
Wow.
That's some solid Calebing right there.
One of them is casting Detect Disease.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One of them is casting Detect Magic.
Okay. On the animals. Or just
well,
in, oh wait, no, just in
detect
general.
General.
Yep.
So they do that. They start looking at Tulip, and they seem sort of fixated on Tulip at the moment. And the other one is sort of writing something down on her clipboard. The Inquisitor, who's sort of chatting with you guys, he's like, "So you just came from Baumgarten, didn't you?"
We stopped in Baumgarten. We've been to Adiaco. We had been to Green Cross. We didn't stop there this past time. I don't know if you've been there. The mayor is a little bit cumbersome to deal with, and we had all this merchandise to move. So
That's no problem. I don't get to travel very much.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You definitely should try more if you can. You definitely should. It's great to see the world.
I would love to one day.
Yeah.
It's my first time.
Well, welcome to Brimwick then.
Thanks. This place is cool.
I'm sure
Well,
you'll
Wednesday,
have a good
not
time. Potentially, just stay out of the sort of civic ward. It's a bit of a mess still.
I heard.
Although
actually,
I guess
you
if you're
seem
going
to-
to the Swine and Pearl, you're headed directly there. So
Well, we have to cut through it, but we'll be careful. Actually, you seem to know a lot about the city and the way it is now. It's been a little while since we've been here. Do you know of a good artificer?
well, I mean, before the invasion, I'm sure there would have been at least one here. I haven't personally had any use of
Okay.
it, but you can try the trade ward.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Might be something still there.
Thank you. If it wasn't totally inappropriate, I would totally tip you now, but I appreciate your help.
By the way,
yeah.
how go the rebuilding efforts?
We've had a lot of effort put in. Some of the men and women of my order have been volunteering to rebuild, and it's coming along. It's a lot of effort, a lot of money,
It's very generous of your order to do so.
but people are slowly starting to come home after many of them left. He says, let me just double check a couple of things with you, if you don't mind. Does anyone
Sure.
want to? Is anyone carrying any unusual magical items?
Well, as part of my show, I do have this, and I point over to the apparatus to the tank.
Mhm.
Say, this is part of my show. It's a little beat up, and that's also why I was asking about it. But it definitely is. I guess you would call it unusual magic, but it's a harmless.
Does it have the claws extended?
No, it doesn't at the moment.
Okay. He's like, very well. It looks like a keg of beer on legs.
Yeah, that's part of the show. Oh man, good eye.
Any weapons or?
I mean, of
strange
course, like
artifacts.
the big guy over there is kind of a strange artifact, but he's a really good bodyguard.
All right. He's magical.
I mean,
In so many ways, if you know.
just don't
But
ask him
nothing-
about his
nothing
rock. That's
unusual.
all.
All right.
Oh, I got this. I'm gonna reach in my pull out and pull out my drift orb. I got this. Isn't this cool?
My daughter has one of those. They're lovely.
Mhm.
It's called Orby McOrb Face. Isn't that cool?
That's a okay. He says,
So yeah,
"Listen, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let me just quickly. Do you mind if I ask your crew if they've seen? Well, yeah, let me show you." And he pulls out a parchment, and on that parchment is the Eye of Odin. And he says,
wait,
"Has
wasn't
anyone
that
seen
was
this
on that
symbol
boat?
before?"
That was the thing on that boat that we saw. What was that? It was like halfway back to Green's.
I think it was just before
yeah,
Green Cross.
Maybe it was just before, but there was a boat and there was a bunch of people on that, and they were like going ashore like before Green Cross or just after. It was like a little cove, and it had that like on the side of the boat. It was kind of weird. It was like painted on.
Yeah, it freaked me
Really?
out.
All right.
Does it mean
Thank you.
something?
Is
Is that something like we should be afraid of these people? Is that like a?
I wouldn't approach
dangerous?
anyone that had a symbol like this on them. They're I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but they are deranged. They are cultists.
I fully believe that.
They seem to be trying to resurrect some ancient horrible god of some kind. They're
Yeah,
very
isn't that the way
violent.
Oh,
Isn't that the way it always is? Somebody's trying to resurrect a god. Meanwhile, you and me, we're trying to make our living.
Yes, it's. Do not approach them. They are very, very dangerous. We've had
I will make sure
many
my
of our
crew
members
knows
murdered.
If we see any while on our travels, we will be sure to report them as soon as we can.
Very well. Thank you. I appreciate the information. You said this was just before Greens Cross.
Yes.
that. Yeah, it was just before. It's like before the river does that second turn to go up, and
What kind of
there's like
ship
a
was it?
coast. Yeah, like it wasn't like a barge like this, but it was kind of long and flat. I don't know ships. I just saw what it was, and it had
it was
a lot of passengers. It had a lot of people on it.
All right. Well, I thank you for the information. I believe my clerics are finished here.
Great.
And the two women come forward and they say, "Actually, we just want to go and get a scroll for the bear. It seems to have something."
Oh no, not Tulip. Oh no.
He's got a bit of a cough, but we can take care of it. It's not a problem.
we did come from Baumgarten.
Yeah,
That's fair.
That explains it.
Yeah.
You know, importing
probably
animals from Baumgarten is actually illegal.
Well,
No,
no.
he's not
He's
from-
with us. We stopped in
Yeah.
Baumgarten. He's been with us the
I
whole time.
understand. I understand. Well, your horses are fine. We'll go and grab some equipment, and we'll take care of the bear before it can offboard.
Oh, good. Thank you. Oh, I hope he's okay.
As they hit the end of the dock, you see one of them sort of rummaging around in like a bag, and the other one is running to a tent.
Can I insight check on this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seems like just they weren't.
Because
They
you
wanna help
identified
there.
it, the one thing I will give you is the one running to the tent is the one who cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Oh.
And they rush into the tent, and after a moment, 4 Inquisitors come out of the tent and start moving towards your dock quickly, with the cleric sort of hanging behind.
What are the Inquisitors looking like?
They are armed. 2 of them have their hands on their weapons, and there is one very stern-faced man in the front who's got like that sort of friar tuck, like half balding, looks like an elderly man, but who's seen a lot of shit, and he is sort of leading the charge down the dock, and he says, he's like, Inquisitor, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to take over this Inquisition here. Please, can you guys please get off the boat? Everybody, I need you lined up on the dock.
Oh my
if you wouldn't
gosh!
mind.
Seriously, we have
What's going
we have to
on?
get this all unloaded, and I have to be in the civic. Oh my god! What
We
is
have
the
reason to
problem?
believe that the vessel in question is smuggling something magical. We just need to. investigate.
I have magical items. I've been talking to this Inquisitor about that. I'm a traveling magician. I have a little bit of arcane ability myself. This is part of my show. The giant apparatus behind you is magical. I'm
Yes.
happy to go over
It's
this.
not that we're looking for. There are things beneath the vessel, within the vessel. We just need to identify what they are, and you can carry on.
Is my pony going to be okay?
Your pony is not magical.
Oh, he's magical to me.
You have a mundane pony, I'm afraid.
Oh, that hurts. Or just hangs her head and walks off the boat.
Yeah.
Mundane pony.
Giorgio is like looking like this. He kind of like sidles up to the closest person near him, which is actually Navik at this point. And he goes, Navik, our weapons underneath the thing are they're gonna be a problem.
Oh, Navik
Navik just and
Oh.
the Inquisitors sort of board the ship, and the cleric who identified the spell also boards the ship, and they start prying up boards. And I think we'll call it there.
Um,
Dun.
before they pry boards,
Mm-hmm.
as they're walking up the ship,
Yes.
Oh God.
I mean, it's going to be worse or not, right? So it'll be fine.
Oh no, that's not a good laugh.
I'm going to
Flame strike.
no. I will turn towards the head.
The older
acolyte.
guy.
Yeah, the one that's kind of leading the
Mhm.
charge, and I'll be like, "We really don't have anything up there. It would be better if you leave and cast command."
All right. What is the DC?
It would be 14 if it's based off me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of save is it?
Rosie's already off the boat, just sitting on the ground, pouting.
So we're gonna be fighting next time, right?
Yeah, pretty
We're,
much.
we're totally gonna fight.
We're effed.
Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. All right. All right. Who wants to roll it? Do you want to
Not
roll
it.
it, Phil?
You want to make me roll the save for him?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I mean, okay.
It is
Oh, we know
1d20
his
plus
roll.
7.
His first good roll, watch.
Yep, it's gonna be a good roll.
Ah.
All right. So the man remind me. This has verbal and somatic.
It's verbal only.
Components? Verbal only.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
only verbal.
All right. So the man kind of looks at you and he goes, "Yeah, I think we're done here." And he kind of waves his arm. Actually, can somebody roll me? One sec, I'm just checking skills. Somebody roll me a d20 plus 5, and somebody roll me a d20 plus 3.
I got the +5.
I already rolled all my
Okay.
bad rolls, so
I'll do the +3.
There we go.
you don't know if it's a good or bad thing.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Nice.
All right. So as the guy with the friar tuck hair, he goes, "Come, we're done here. We have to leave." And some of like the clearly subordinate acolytes are like, "Okay." The man who was talking to you initially in the big plate armor and things like that, his brow furrows and he sees it, like he recognizes what you're doing, and he reaches for Caleb.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here. So this takes me 10 seconds to 10 seconds to happen.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm just going to sort of walk, and as I'm talking and like waving, going, "Hey, everybody! Whoa, whoa, whoa!" For any ugliness or fighting, I'm going to put your pressure cooker on the guy in the armor.
All right. Remind me how this works. It's a contested persuasion.
So wisdom versus my charisma persuasion roll.
All right. Go ahead and make your persuasion roll.
Sorry for delaying the end.
No,
Oh.
it's good.
18. All right.
Could have been better.
Could have been the
Could've
other
been
one,
Worse.
but it's not enough.
Oh. All right. So what happens?
So as I'm talking and walking around, he starts to feel very uncomfortable and then spontaneously combusts.
Oh my
feeling-
goodness.
Oh
Feeling-
my god.
5d6 fire damage plus 1d6 for each damage until they spend an action putting out the flames.
Oh.
But if he's in armor, it's not easy to do.
Yep. All right. So
Barbecued.
the armored Inquisitor on the docks erupts into flames.
What happened?
And all chaos breaks loose. And we will end it there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. See, Caleb had such a good idea.
It was
It
working.
going so bad.
Oh,
And then
no,
two people had to roll high.
Everything.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this out though. So
We'll play it out.
Yep.
I got 3 more charges of command, so we're good.
And I have a deception of plus 12. So
I will
And I can do a higher
create a
level.
map for this so you guys are aware of all of the different, because there's quite a
There's a-
number of people.
there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who are about to kill us. Yeah.
Yeah.
plus all of your crewmates who have varying degrees of combat ability.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
This is tremendous.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me once again,
Thank you.
Thanks.
and we will see you next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yes.
I hope. I'm
All right.
well,
Sounds good.
goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Now we need a theme song.